There we go. Welcome, everybody. Okay, what are we doing then? We've got loads to talk about, really. So I'm just picking some of the stuff. Actually, we'll keep that off there for the moment. We're going to talk about Necrons. We've got the faction focus on Necrons. We've got the faction focus on Space Marines. We have a question from one of the guys over on the Facebook group, and that's talking about the imbalance between the starter set, the Dark Imperium starter set. And we also have some information about Titan Comics. I say information, I want to talk about Titan Comics and graphic novels within the Warhammer universe, because it's something I never knew about before and came across it at Warhammer Fest. We've also got Warhammer Fest to talk about and Chilcon, so there's quite a lot that we can talk about. With us on the Hangout tonight, we've got Rachel, who tonight is just going to be voice from everybody else because they're all busy. So Rachel's here.
Hey.
And we also have Phil, Jack, and Mike. They're all over at Phil's house working on the 8th edition Dark Imperium starter set. So we've
hello.
They're all there. We've sorted some content out. We just need to get it edited. But they're building and painting the entire set for the local store. It's their box set, and we've agreed to get it built and painted for them. And the bonus is that we get to see it all early. So we've got lots and lots of stuff to get through. We're not going to spoil everything. We're just going to go through the stuff that's online because all of the rules have been leaked all over the internet. So a lot of people know the rules. You can go out and find them if you're interested in them. But we'd do a separate show later on down the line on the rules if people want that. But for now, we're just going to talk about what everybody knows. So we're going to go through the chat first of all. We'll see who's here. We've got almost 50 people right at the beginning, so that's awesome. A couple of likes already as well. We've got Ashley Perkins, Sean Dewitt, UK Pagan, Andrew Snowden, Coyote, Mark Potter, welcome Mark, Karanis, Kim Olsen, Muldis, James Jones, and we met James Jones at the Warhammer Fest at the weekend, which was awesome. Neil Young, again another one we saw, Karanis, I've already said Karanis, and Coyote. Joel Miller, hello from Texas, first time for a live broadcast with you guys. Well, thank you for joining us, Joel. I'm not sure what time it is. It must be afternoon or morning for you. C. Mawson, does anyone else stream these live chats while hobbying? I would if I wasn't on them. That's the idea for me. Frank Storm, who was on Facebook earlier, I think, as well. The Harry Painter. We got John, Noodles, Danny Yates, Johnny Rockstar, Dark Elf Dave, Martin Dix, Icaria. We met Icaria at Warhammer Fest as well. Andrew Snowden, I've already said. Homish1, hi, welcome. And so what chat have we got? Neil Young wants to open the book and be surprised by things. Karanis doesn't like the leak. And Ashley Perkins, which unit rules do you most like that has changed or is different to what you expected? We'll chuck that down as a question. Phil, if you can write that down, we'll answer that when we get round to the unit changes.
Okay.
Big McDanskill's here as well. Welcome. Where do we want to start then? Let's go over briefly. Let's go over Chilcon, Phil. We'll talk about Philcon. Philcon. That's the name of our... we're going to make an event called Philcon. We don't need anything else. What was Chilcon like, Phil?
It was amazing. Right, okay, we're just going to have to unmute you for a bit. Sorry, guys. There's literally 3 people side by side, shoulder to shoulder, building, basing, cleaning up. So excuse the rattles and bangs as scalpels go down and clippers get passed to each other. Mm-hmm. So apologies for all of that. What was Chilcon like? Chilcon was really good, actually. I really enjoyed it. There was a great crowd there. Obviously, the guys from Chilling Wargamer and... all the, Gav Thorpe was there as well with a big stompy robot. So, oh man, there was so much going off there. So it was really good. And yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff there. You know, there was like a game based on the Time Bandits movie and stuff like that. I kind of spent the whole day with a big grin on my face, which has got to be a good sign, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we ran into Ulster Nation at the services as well, which was kind of random. We turned up and he was walking out with a coffee as we were walking in, and then we must have followed him up the motorway to Sheffield. But it was
a bit weird, that was it. Out of the entire country, we kind of both pulled over at the same service station, coming from different things, you know.
Yeah, but it was a really good day. It was quite a long one. It was really hot as well, and yeah, it was the heat was the biggest drawback. I think everything else was awesome. We got to see so many cool things at the event, and next year hopefully it's going to be the same, if not bigger, and there'll be more people there. We saw some viewers there, some of our viewers, which was awesome. I think Carl Mawson was there. He just said really enjoyed Chilcon. And we met a bunch of the game manufacturers as well. So that was Saturday.
And Steve was there from one of my favourites. Steve was there from Barwell Bodyworks with loads and loads of airbrushing stuff. So I was like the proverbial kid in a toy shop. I was very happy. Sam, I don't think I was the only one that got a bit giddy as well, was I?
Why?
What did you? What did you spend some pennies on?
Oh yeah, I haven't even. This is the problem. I've been so busy since then. I've not been able to do any
You've
painting.
actually forgotten.
I actually forgot. Yeah, so the scale 75 set. I'll get a picture if anybody's interested. But I've Phil's quite kindly sorted out the wall in this room at the moment, and it's being converted into a really nice studio with desks that go around the entire outside. It's going to give me room to do all of my building, painting, and editing. It's going to be room for everything. At the minute, it's all piled on one desk, so it's a bit of a pain. But he's sorted out some wall racks that hold everything, and they're really cheap. They're £17. I think they hold 140 or 120 Games Workshop paints, and more obviously if you've got the Vallejo or the Army Painter or Scale 75 paints. And I bought 3 of those, and I bought 2 of these other boxes, and it's all on the wall, and everything's neat and tidy. My OCD is absolutely settled. The next good news is once the desk is sorted, that's the next level of OCD sorted, and the final part is a shelf which is going to go above all of the computer and editing stuff, which is going to house all of the KR cases in one nice neat line. So I'm most excited about that, I think, at the moment. But I got the
yeah, I can't believe you've almost forgot about it in all of that. In, nice new painting.
It's been a long weekend.
I suppose your studio isn't quite finished yet, though. So I do feel sorry for you because you're kind of in the middle of a crazy messed up studio at the moment, trying to do a live broadcast.
I feel like I'm living out of a suitcase. You know when you go on holiday and you don't fully unpack because you're not going to be there for long, and you're constantly taking stuff out of your suitcase, and you're just like, this is awkward. Maybe I should just take it out of the suitcase. I feel like that's what the hobby room is. So nothing's really where it's supposed to be at the minute, and you know what I'm like for having things in its certain place. It's a bit weird. But I got loads of.
I'm surprised it's not driving you crazy.
It is driving me crazy, but I'm just putting up with it and making myself busy. Anyway, I got Scale 75 stuff. Loads of really cool paint sets. I've never used them before. Everyone said that they were worth picking up, so I grabbed them. I'm going to try them out, and then I'm going to let everyone know how amazing they are. If they are, they might be rubbish. We'll see.
How disappointed would you be?
If they're rubbish, I mean, the boxes were nice, so that's a bonus, and the little pots are nice, and they're all organised, which is the main thing.
I like how vibrant they are.
Yeah, vibrant.
You know, when you decide they're rubbish, can I have them?
Yeah. Matt Pink's joined us. Welcome, Mr. Pink. Orc Boys has joined as well. Ashley Perkins asked a viewer question, but I might answer it. Do you plan to buy the book for the army that needs to most work? Or buy all and be flexible with which army you can field straight away? I guess that's individually. I think if I wasn't doing this for the channel, you know what, I'd probably still pick up all of the books with the price that they are. It's like 2 to 3 codexes if I was buying it separately, and you've got all of the rules. If you're wanting to get up to speed with knowing the ins and outs of each army, what they can build, what sort of rules they've got, I'd pay the extra and just buy the entire indices collection and start reading all of it.
See, I'm the opposite. I like to choose an army and then just stick with that, but like really learn it inside and out, sort of thing. So I think I'd just literally pick one, and then that would be it.
Andrew Snowden, how much are the books? I think were they £15, Phil?
I think
Yes,
you might have already answered.
they're going to retail at 15.
Yeah, so they're fairly cheap.
And you know what? They're actually they're quite a lot to them, I have to say. I mean, they're at least the thickness of one of the bigger codexes from the old edition, if you know what I mean. They're kind of not quite Space Marine thickness, but you know, that certainly thicker than a standard codex. I'm trying to think.
They're bigger.
Possibly.
I mean, the Imperium 2 book is
they're
bigger than a codex. The Chaos 1 is about the same size, if not bigger. And the Imperium 1 book is much bigger than a normal codex. So they're quite...
Yeah, you know, I was just going to say the two Xenos books are more or less identical in size, but again, still bigger than the codex. About 1.5 White Dwarfs thick, I think, is probably something that most people will have seen. So plenty in there. Pound.
What else we got? Neil Young after Warhammer Fest, chatting with the heavy metal. He taught me through the Death Guard. I just want to wait for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that as well. I mean, those leaks, they're kind of nice because you get to, you know, it's one of those things as the leaks started to hit the internet. I looked at a few things, but I didn't want to look at everything. I wanted to be able to sit down with the book and kind of really go through, you know, the Eldar and kind of see what units have changed and try and work it out and muse over it. So, yeah, I'd rather be sat with a nice cup of coffee and a book in front of me and work it all out.
That's what I plan to do later on. I think once I've edited, everything's sorted, I'm going to be excited about 8th edition even more. Just reading through.
It kind of depends how in your face those leaks are. I mean, if it's kind of one of those where, okay, if you want to go and see what they are, then you have to go and search for them, then that's fair enough. Actually, it kind of works because then if people do want to see them, they can go and search for them. But if they don't want to see them, then it's not a problem. But I guess it depends if people are sort of putting them in, like, you know how people comment on like Facebook with like spoilers for like recent films and things like that. If it's done in that kind of way, then I can see why people would be getting quite annoyed about it.
Some of it is like that. It's not as bad as like Game of Thrones where people just post a meme and then you're like, oh, that's ruined. Cheers for that.
I mean, to be fair, if at this stage you haven't learned not to go on Facebook the day that Game of Thrones comes out, then you've kind of only got yourself to blame.
Yeah, I mean, our Facebook group isn't too bad, to be honest. We've had 3 or 4 shares on there. It's not much, to be honest. We've been linking the community stuff every day. Whenever it's been going up, somebody has been sharing it. It's not necessarily just us, but the community group's been on top of that. But the leaks, it's not as bad, and a lot of it is just general chit chat about where we think things are going, which is fine. It's more when it's constant spamming that we don't like. Anyway, what else have we got? Al Woods has joined us. Welcome, Al. C. Mawson, met a bunch of you. It was a pleasure. The pleasure was ours, Carl.
I'll tell you something I learned from Chilcon. I know, like, we've sort of moved on from Chilcon, but I found out that that Halo has a board game or a miniatures game.
Mm-hmm.
And you already knew that. I didn't know. I thought it'd be advertised more. I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I found it to be one of those things that everyone would know about. But
it's probably not as popular as like Games Workshop, and that's really the maximum you normally see into. Unless we all talk about it, you generally don't go looking for miniature games, do you?
Well, no, but you'd have thought with how popular Halo is. I mean, you know, people from our generation basically grew up on that game. You'd have thought that, you know, I was really surprised that I didn't know it was a miniatures game kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
That looked pretty decent. Then there's SLA Industries. That looked awesome. I can't wait to read that book.
The SLA Industries guys were amazing. They gave us a book and some miniatures to do like an unboxing review on as well. And the background, for me, the background is everything about that game. If you've not looked at SLA or SLA, however it's supposed to be pronounced, just have a look at the videos for the background, because the best part for me is they've got these operatives which go around killing things, and they're sponsored by these big, massive companies and corporations, and they'll send them out. They'll say this, they're in a city, this street's being locked down. We're going to dump an operative here. They're going to fight for their life. They're going to kill all of these monsters or scavengers or whatever it is that they dump in this alleyway. And basically, you're sitting watching it, a civilian watching it on the TV, just thinking that's my street outside there. And they look out the windows and then they board it all up because it's all gonna kick off outside their windows in a second. And these operatives basically get sent in. They fight, they kill, they do this almost wave-like killing spree. And before they kill stuff, they have to pose with their guns, and they've got clothing from all these different branded lines which are sponsored. So it's almost like a pop or a rock star or like a celebrity mixed with a soldier. And there's one character, I think her name was Dahlia or something like that. And I think she wears surfwear, even though there's nowhere to surf. So she wears all of this surfwear and is promoted about that, and people buy her stuff just because she's wearing it. But the background's great. There's basically New York and a big hole in the ground where Central Park is. And is it Central Park? I think it's Central Park anyway. There's a huge hole, and rather than fix it, they build a wall around it, and over hundreds and hundreds of years they just throw all of the rubbish into this hole, and eventually it starts to come back out because everything's mutated. It's almost like a hive city underground, and it crawls back up out of the walls into the city, and it all kicks off, and these operatives basically run around killing them and keeping the peace. So cool background. It's worth looking into.
Yeah, I think I'd spend literally hours doing the character customization. I mean, it's basically like it's a bit of an RPG kind of thing, isn't it? And then, mixed with miniatures, mixed with clothes. So what's not to love for me?
Dance Macabre saying, anyone else got the Warhammer Community page shot in the live stream? That's me. This is me doing this. Let's just go through the chat quickly, and then we'll start actually going on to one of these topics, and we can get rid of this for you because I know it's disturbing. So Neil, you looked at it. Oh, so Harinthian Skag. They are doing a Fallout tabletop game. Yeah, that's something you might like, Rach. Fallout miniatures.
That's a game changer. That sounds amazing. Yeah, I'd be well up for finding out more about that.
Stephen Humphreys managed to catch a live chat, not just old ones on YouTube. Well done, Stephen. Thank you for joining us. Neil Young saying you guys looked a bit knackered at Warhammer Fest. Chilcon took it out of you in the heat. It certainly did. It was a long couple of days, but it was awesome. We were baked in Warhammer World. It was stifling on Saturday. Yeah, at least the rooms were a lot open. From Chilcon to Warhammer Fest, it was definitely cooler at Warhammer Fest. Mark Potter, Halo Ground Command was hampered by late releases. A lot of people will put off it very quickly, so that's why you maybe don't hear about it as much. Joel Miller, are the different chapters going to give chapter tactics at first? Going to have chapter tactics at first, or is it going to be something that comes later with the codexes? I'll get back to you on that. Hyrintian Skag, my Mangler squigs got delivered today. Beautiful model. It's amazing, yeah. And I've seen people break the two squigs apart and use them as two separate Mangler squigs, but convert them. So it wasn't just being cheap, it was having conversions, but it was a cheap way of doing it as well. But that was a good idea. Necrons look amazing. Right, let's get on to the Necrons. So I've had a brief look at this, not loads. So the faction focus for today is them. It's Frankie again, who knows his armies. So what have we got? Necrons are one of the most resilient armies in the current edition, thanks to their reanimation protocols. So currently, I believe it's the feel no pain roll. Effectively, you get a feel no pain roll after your normal save. They're changing it in here. It's also known for having giant canoptic spiders, spawning horns of little scarabs to overwhelm their opponents. It's also common to see large numbers of canoptic wraiths and tomb blades, which are extremely fast, resilient, and hit like a ton of bricks. But how do these ancient metallic monsters fare in the new Warhammer 40k? First thing is the reanimation protocols. So rather than having effectively the 5-up feel no pain roll, you keep track of how many models have died from your unit. So if you start with 10 Necron warriors and during the game you lose 5 of them, during the first turn you lose 5 of them, you basically keep track of that. And now that's back into, so you will then be able to place models back into their units every turn on the roll of a 5-up. And it says every turn. I don't know if it says at the start or at the end. Let's say it's if anybody knows if it's start or end, let us know. But let's say at the start of the turn, you roll those 5 dice for the 5 Necrons that are out at the moment. Any 5s or 6s, you put them back onto the table within unit coherency of the unit. So not only does it mean that you can bring them back, it's effectively the feel no pain, but it also allows you to place them wherever you want in that unit. So you can spread them across a unit. You can move them out of combat. You can move them wherever you need them to be. So that's a bonus on top of it. The other thing is it's not just a one-off at the end of your turn. You roll a dice for every model that's died, and on a 5 or 6 they come back. It's every single turn from that point on. So if you, in the first turn, take 5 losses of Necrons, at the end of that turn you only roll 1 5. So 1 comes back, you're still 4 down, yeah? Next turn, you lose another 5. You've got 1 model in that unit at the moment. If I've even worked that out right. You've got 9 rolls now, but you get to roll all 9 of those dice again, and you could potentially get 4 or 5 of those back. And every single turn, if you're missing Necron warriors in that unit, you roll on that. You roll basically and see if they come back. So it's really powerful. Really, really powerful. And you've got to be tactical when you're fighting Necrons now. You can't just hope that you kill some and they die. You have to finish them off. You have to keep killing that unit and target the unit and focus fire on it. Otherwise, the chances are it will come back. Akari is saying beginning of the turn. So it's very...
I love this. I love this rule, and I love this change to it.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you can be down to 1 Necron and you're picking up 9 dice and suddenly there's 10 stood there again.
Definitely.
Just for me, it's kind of quite thematic. You know, you could have 1 functioning Necron and you could have 9 dragging themselves around on their knees like Terminator or missing the bottom half or something like that. And then all of a sudden they all just join back up and off they go again, you know. Yeah. So I love the fact you've got to completely wipe the unit out before they're gone for good, you know.
But it's very thematic, and I think that's, you know, we were saying about being tactical and having a reaction to the game as well. If you focus any fire on the Necron warriors, you need to make sure you're going to deal with them. You can't just chuck a few shots at them here and there. You have to focus fire when you're fighting Necrons, and I think that's just an amazing change. I think that's what it used to be, or very similar to what it used to be in 2nd or 3rd edition whenever the Necrons came out. Might be 4th actually.
I can just imagine it getting really infuriating, which is just brilliant.
But
my brother plays Necron. I love the ability to wind everybody up throughout the game by just keeping his dudes back.
I've even got an example more than my stupid example. I should have just carried on reading. What else have we got? Illuminor Zeraz, who is a bulked up Cryptek, can help boost this ability. So like all Crypteks, it allows the Necron units within 3 inches of them to add +1 to their reanimation protocol rolls. So then on a 4+, that's so powerful. That's so survivable. Have we got toughness values on these? Are they toughness 4 yet?
Hold on a minute.
He can also improve a unit of warriors or immortals every turn by giving them either +1 ballistic skill, strength, or toughness. So even if they're toughness 4 or 3, you can bump them up to 4. If they're 4, you knock them up to 5. They're just so tanky. And then you just chuck a ballistic skill or a strength on whenever you need it, and they can then do the job that they need to do. They're so versatile, which lasts for the rest of the game, although a unit may only receive this bonus once per game. So, oh my god, I didn't even read that. So Illuminor is a solid choice for any Necron army and will be seen leading many forces to battle. Obviously, the flip side of this is characters are going to be able to be picked out by snipers. You're going to be manoeuvring around units so that you can pick off characters unless they're in the centre of a unit of Necron warriors. I think if it was me, I would be having a huge chunk of warriors, Necron warriors, and then just putting in Crypteks in the middle of all of them and just have them almost being the bodyguard unit around the field to keep up with them.
Yeah, Necrons, the standard warriors, toughness 4. Is that what you were asking about?
Yeah. So they're toughness 4 standard then. So 5 with the bonus.
A lot of the characters are toughness 5 now.
Wow.
Yeah, or at least a few of the characters are toughness 5. Trays on the Infinite and stuff. That's just incredible.
Well, the next one's Anrakir the Traveller. So he's a Necron character who can provide bonuses to Necron infantry by giving +1 attack to units within 3 inches of him as well. And it's units again. We were saying it's not models anymore. You can put 2 or 3 units next to him and conga line them out, and then do multiple charges against enemies.
Yeah.
It's going to be very Death Starry, which is Rachel's way of playing.
Right. I'm just going to have to mute you a second. We've got a slight missing base issue. I'll be back shortly.
Yep, no worries. Next, we've got the heavy destroyers who will tear through a vehicle without breaking a sweat or oil or whatever they leak. These ignore the penalty for moving and shooting heavy weapons, which makes their strength 9, AP -4, and D6 damage weapon especially lethal due to its mobility. That's really powerful. I think even the Dark Lance from Dark Eldar is only strength 8, maybe 9, and I don't think the AP is -4. I think it is D6 damage though. But on a heavy destroyer, that's not like on Dark Eldar. You need to have raiders and ravagers for that sort of weaponry, not on heavy destroyers. And then we've got the Necron warrior. So this is the last part. One of the strongest troop units in the game with their strength 4, AP -1, rapid fire guns. That's really powerful. When led to battle by the various Necron characters, these guys will last longer and bring even the strongest warriors to their knees. I often find myself running 60+ Necron warriors in my list with the maximum unit size set at 20. Full units are the hardest to deny their reanimation protocol rolls. Yeah, I think you're going to be needing 20-man units and just stick a cryptic in the middle of them. Just be mindful of protecting your all-important characters, as they are what really makes the army hum. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You've got to keep them together. Lucky for you, nearly all Necron warriors have the living metal rule, which allows them to heal a wound every turn. And then we've got the monolith data sheet. Let's open this. So movement is based on how many wounds it's taken. At full strength, it moves 6. It's fairly slow. What you'd expect is a giant pyramid. 6 up weapon skill. It's not going to be hitting much in combat. Ballistic skill is 4 or more to hit at full wounds. Goes down to a 6 on 1 to 5 remaining wounds, which that's fine. Strength 8, which is it's a huge lumbering pyramid, like we said. Toughness 8, it should be 8. 20 wounds, so it's going to be tough nut to crack. 3 attacks, which is probably just landing on a unit. 10 leadership and 3 up save. It's got 4 Gauss flux arcs and a particle whip. 4 heavy 3, strength 5, -2 AP, damage 1 shots. So that's good. And then a particle whip, which is 24-inch range, heavy 6, strength 8, -2 AP and D3 damage.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's disgusting. It's got living metal again, so that heals every turn. Death descending, so you can set it up and plummet from the sky instead. You have to be 12 inches or more from an enemy model, but 12 inches or more. And then what does Portal of Exile do? When an enemy unit other than a monster or vehicle charges this model, its Portal of Exile may activate. Roll a d6 and compare it to the value required. If the roll is successful, the charging unit suffers d6 mortal wounds. That's nice. So even if you try and charge it, if you're at full wounds on a 4-up, you're going to take d6 mortal wounds before anything even happens. It's a hovering.
So is this what Games Workshop's actually put on their website, or is this from something else?
This is Games Workshop's. We can get all the rules for everything else. We're just doing Games Workshop's daily updates more than anything.
Oh, okay.
Floating Fortress, it can move and fire heavy weapons without suffering the penalty to its hit rolls, which is fine. And then Eternity Gate. So when you set this model up, you can also set up any number of the same dynasty infantry units on their tomb world rather than setting them up on the battlefield, so you keep them off the board. Before the monolith moves in each of your movement phase, a single unit that was set up on their tomb world can be transported onto the battlefield by the monolith. To do so, set up the unit so that it's wholly within 3 inches of the monolith and more than 1 inch away from the enemy. If all friendly night sides of monoliths are destroyed, any units still on the tomb world are considered to be slain. That's awesome. I mean, especially combined with the death descending rule, you land it wherever you need it to be, on an objective or behind enemy lines, and then every turn onwards, you just have units teleporting out of the front of it.
I like the little bit that they're not in reserve, they're on their tomb world.
It's quite fluffy. I like it. And it's got the Titanic keyword as well, so that ignores dangerous terrain, like the difficult terrain movement and things like that.
Yeah.
I love the name for that.
If this model is reduced to 0 wounds, roll a d6 before removing it. On a 6, it explodes. Each unit within 6 inches suffers d6 mortal wounds. Wow, okay. Not bad. Let's see what everybody thinks about in the chat about that. Right, what have we got? Necrons look amazing. Carl's seen the Fallout miniatures as well. He says they look great. Axis is saying comes later, no chapter or Legion tactics. Neil's got half an army of Necrons, so he's going to finish them. Again, a lot of people say Necrons are going to be tough to beat. I think they're going to be tactical to beat them. You have to be tactical to beat them, but they will be able to be destroyed.
Can I not just run in guns blazing and hope for the best?
Yeah, I mean, Necrons is more your sort of army rage, if I'm going to be honest. The only problem is it doesn't have as many psychic powers as you would like.
Yeah, I'm not as keen on the models either.
Oh.
I mean, I can appreciate them.
Oh, this is the first time you've said anything about models, Rachel.
No, I think they look cool, but they're not my kind of thing. Like, I can look at them and go, yeah, they're pretty cool models, but they're just not my kind of thing.
Akari is, your opponent will have to commit to wiping out each unit or face being overwhelmed. That's exactly how it's going to be. Pink says he said he was going to be doing Tau. Now he's totally doing Necrons instead.
Pink.
Big McDanskull, this sounds disgusting, but narratively it makes sense. That's why it's fine. If it makes sense, it's okay. What else have we got? What are you replying to, Rach? Oh, we got a Rugglove God here. Rachel nearly always wins. She does indeed. Oh yeah, and what if that's the monolith? What's the Tesseract Vault going to be like? It's going to be powerful. And then the points. Yeah, the points is not a cheap vehicle at all. Yeah, I think you're paying for points. You're paying for the price of these things. Okay. Now, the next question we've got, this was from Martin Thompson. So this was on the Facebook group. If you're not on there already, go on Facebook, type in Wargamer Online space community, and then you can just join the group and we'll accept you, and you can join in. You can send us questions, you can make your own topics, and it's basically Facebook. But it's quite an active group. We've got a lot of people on there, and it's quite a welcoming community as well. We don't do negativity, and it's all about positive hobby chat. So Martin Thompson messaged us with this rather than putting it on the group, and this is saying, on your next talk, please address the full data sheets released by GW today on Facebook. So this was last week. In particular, that Plague Marines have worse stat lines and are easier to kill than Primaris Marines, and the point cost are higher for Plague Marines. Also, compared the Law of Contagion stats with the Primaris Commander, even though the Lord is bigger, can't shoot, and only half charge range, he is more expensive than the Primaris. The balance of 8th edition seems not to be balanced at all. Would really appreciate your comment on this, as I doubt with points cost it will change. I've got 2 people wanting to join the group. I'll accept you right now. This is the bonus of live chat. There you go, you're both in. Right, so I've got 4 profiles up because I want to go through this. We'll start with the captain, and we're going to go with that compared to the Lord of Contagion. And on paper, we've got the stats there. The only difference, so the captain's got 1 inch extra movement than the Lord of Contagion. The Lord of Contagion has, 1 less attack, but it also has a better armor save.
And which one's more expensive, sorry?
The Lord of Contagion is the more expensive one.
By quite a lot?
Not loads, but it is more expensive. So on paper, when you're looking at it and you think, points, you're paying more for the Lord of Contagion, and he's got a point. It's it's bigger, it can't shoot, it's got half the charge range. Why is he more expensive? But then you look at the rest of the abilities and the rest of the weapons that these have got.
I was going to say, it's got a lot of abilities, hasn't it, this guy?
The abilities are insane. So he's got a Plague Reaper. So if we look at... Phil, can you accept everyone on the group? We've got a bombardment of people now.
I'll do my best.
Cheers.
I'm on it.
So when we're looking at the weapon, the Plague Reaper from the Lord of Contagion, his basic strength is 4. So he's got a strength 6, AP -3, damage 3. So it's flat damage 3 weapon, and he also has the ability of you can reroll wound rolls of 1 for this weapon. So, most things he's going to be wounding on a 3, and you get to reroll 1s for that weapon. So that's nasty as it is. The flat damage of 3 is insane. There's not too many things that just have a flat damage of that value without a negative. Even a Power Fist has got -1 to hit if you're using a Power Fist. So we're going to go over to the captain now, and in terms of his melee weapons, he's got a choice. He can use the Boltstorm Gauntlet, which has got ×2 strength, so his strength 8 rather than strength 6. He's got -3 on the AP, which is exactly the same, but then he's got the D3 damage. So it could be it could be a 1 or it could be a 3. It's not as guaranteed and as reliable as the Plague Reaper for a start. On top of that, whenever you're attacking with that weapon, you subtract 1 from the hit roll. So you're hitting on a 2 normally, you're now hitting on a 3. So in terms of that, the stats are reduced slightly. The other option is using the Power Sword instead. That strength is 4. It's got -3 AP, exactly the same, and it's got the 2 damage. So it's more reliable, but the Plague Reaper is still better, and you get the rerolls of 1s. So weapon to weapon, it's better. The only thing that the captain's got a bit better than that is the shooting. He does have a pistol which he can use in combat. It's got 12-inch range. It's got 3 shots, strength 4, no AP, and 1 damage. So it's not amazing, but it will definitely help out, especially being a pistol. So that initially is the first big difference, and I think that's why you're paying the extra points. The next stuff we've got, so the Lord of Contagion has got the disgustingly resilient special rule. So anytime he takes a wound, you roll a dice, and on a 5 or a 6, you don't take that wound. Now that's incredibly survival. On top of him having a 2-up armor save and a toughness of 5, having that just ignoring the save is definitely such a huge bonus.
I mean, if every time he takes a wound there's a 1/3 chance of it coming back, then statistically, even depending on how the game plays out, but statistically that's basic, as if he's got 9 wounds as a basic stat line. I mean, it actually doesn't work out quite like that, because you can keep regaining those wounds over and over again. But in any given turn, he's got the equivalent of 9 wounds.
Yeah. The captain doesn't have that. So his bonuses, he's got, and they shall know no fear, which lets you reroll failed morale tests, leadership tests. They both have a 4-up invulnerable save, so the Iron Halo from the captain gives him that. And because the Lord of Contagion is in Cataphractii armor, that gives him a 4-up invulnerable save as well. And now the reason he has half of his advance roll movement, that's because of the armor that he's wearing. So anybody in Cataphractii armor is going to be having the same rules for that. But the benefit is he's got Teleport Strike, so he can just turn up anywhere on the board as long as they're 9 inches away from enemy models, which again is a huge bonus. It doesn't matter that you can't shoot. You're going to be 9 inches away from the enemy or 10 inches away from the enemy when you bring it into the table. The captain doesn't have that. The next bonus that the captain has got is you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly chapter units within 6 inches of the model, which is that's good, but that makes this captain more of a buffing character than a combat character, which is definitely what this Lord of Contagion is.
We've had a question in the chat from Mitch saying, does the Nurgle 5-up work on mortal wounds? The wording of disgustingly resilient is each time a model in this unit loses a wound, roll a dice, and on a roll of 5 or 6, the model does not lose that wound. So that sounds like it does indeed work against mortal wounds as well, because it's not a save, it's regaining the wound. So you're not rolling to save against it, you roll to regain the wound.
See, Andrew said the Avatar of Cain has that rule too, but it specifies mortal wounds. We need to read the mortal... Can you check the mortal wounds in front of you, please, Phil? Because I'm sure mortal wounds says you don't get any saves, so that's armor saves or invulnerable saves. But
I guess that's what Phil's saying. It's not
either of those.
It is a save. You're regaining a wound.
With disgusting resilience, you have to actually lose the wound before you then roll. So you're not saving the wound; you're actually losing the wound first.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that will work exactly the same. It will be fine.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It doesn't say anywhere on this ability that it is a save roll, and that's why I think you still get it for definite. I mean, just looking at that, it's incredible. For 9 power points compared to the captain, it's definitely worth that, I'd say.
So, if you had the choice to have in your army, which one would you take?
The Lord of Contagion, every single time. Every single time.
So mortal wound is essentially each mortal wound inflicts 1 point of damage on the target unit. Do not make a wound roll or saving throw, including invulnerable saves against a mortal wound. Just allocate it as you would any other wound and inflict damage to the model.
Yeah.
So yes, you'd receive a mortal wound, you've taken a wound, you roll disgusting resilience.
Yeah, exactly. And that would break it down
That's
to damage.
that's how
So every damage you take, you roll a dice, and on a 5 or 6, you remove one of those damage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's the opposite way around. I think, if anything, the captain is underpowered and probably overpointed. Definitely on those two.
Again, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because characters have changed. The very nature of characters have changed to something that's more like Age of Sigmar. And it's going to be about how they interplay with the units around them as well. You know, the fact that he can... Does that re-roll morale affect units around him or just himself?
Reroll morale, I think all of the Space Marines have got that. And they show no fear is their special. Their standard roll.
That's pretty... You know, that's pretty significant now, considering that morale, you know, like Battle Shock in Age of Sigmar, can absolutely change the direction of the game now.
It is and
you
it
know,
isn't.
You're just removing... Pardon?
It is and it isn't, in two ways. I mean, for one, the Plague Reaper will just slaughter. I mean, it doesn't matter about failing morale. If you don't fail morale, you're still going to die from the Plague Reaper. You've got a very killy unit there, which one-on-one will just kill the other one.
Yeah.
I think it probably depends on the size of the game as well, though. I mean, there'll be certain instances where actually you are better off taking the captain because you'll be able to fit better, like, other things in the list, sort of thing. So you'll be able to, like you say, use other units with him and essentially create a more well-rounded list. I mean, it's like when I try and take Croak in a 1,000-point list. Yeah, Croak's awesome, but actually he only works with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So you've sort of got to decide, is it worth paying those extra points and sacrificing other units?
Yeah. And the flip side of that, I mean, I've just got the Intercessor squad up here. The captain, 7 points. We're looking at the most basic one here, 7 power for the captain and 6 power for the Intercessor squad. For the captain, though, it gives rerolls to hit of 1 for surrounding units. So if you put him next to the Hellblaster unit that have got the plasmas, you can then go up, you can supercharge your plasma weapons, and you've now got strength 8 weapons that do 2 damage rather than 1. And your negative side of that, if you roll a 1, you're basically going to kill yourself, or there's a chance of you killing yourself, is negated by the fact that you've got a captain nearby letting you re-roll it. So certain things will work together, and I think it's using the units together that means they're worthwhile. Next bit was the Intercessor squad and the Plague Marine. So we're going to go over these. The Intercessor squad is 1 power point cheaper. The Plague Marines have got toughness 5. The Intercessor's toughness 4. Other than that, the movement is 1 inch faster on the Intercessor, which you'd imagine was right because Nurgle are obviously a bit slower. They're fat. They're dying. They're Nurgle. They're going to be slow. Both got 3s to hit, and they're big bone. Then all right. They both got 3s to hit for weapon skill and ballistic skill. They both have strength 4. They both have. Oh no! So Plague Marines have got 1 wound each, but we'll get back to that. And the Intercessors have got 2 wounds each. The Intercessors have got 2 attacks. The Plague Marines have only got 1. And again, the leadership is the same, but you get the rerolls on the and they show no fear on the Intercessors, so that's their benefit for them. And the save is the same. So again, looking at this, I think they're balanced. The choice for the Plague Marines, I think you're paying extra power because you've got a whole load of extra options in terms of equipment. The Intercessors can only really do one thing. If you look at their profile, they've got bolt rifles, they've got bolt pistols. it's not a huge. There's not loads there. They don't have any abilities other than the reroll in the morale, and they're good. They're a good troop unit, but they're going to be only able to kill a certain thing with their bolt rifles. When you look at the Plague Marines, they've got a mix of bolt guns, they've got plasma guns available to them, plasma pistols, plague knives. I think every single one has a plague knife, which lets you re-roll wound rolls of 1. So again, it's increasing their effectiveness in combat. The sergeant of the unit or the champion of the unit can take a plague sword, which lets you re-roll failed wound rolls, all of them. And you can also chuck in things like power fists, and they've got blight grenades. So there's a lot more options. I think the versatility is why you might pay the extra points. The toughness of 5 combined with the disgustingly resilient rule is also going to be keeping them alive. They're going to be incredibly difficult to kill. Even though they've only got 1 wound, the toughness 5 is going to make it harder to actually wound them in the first place. And then even if you manage to wound them on a 5 or 6, they don't take that damage. So overall, I think the points are definitely, if you're looking at stats, it doesn't look right. If you look at the abilities and the weapons and the ways that you can use these, they definitely are balanced, in my opinion.
I mean, that ability would be pretty useless to you, though, Sam, because you just roll 1s every time.
It's a good job I'm not playing Plague Marines. Jack is playing Plague Marines, and he rolls 5s and 6s, so exactly what he needs.
Oh, yeah, you're not destroying that army if you're playing against Jack.
Not at all. Not at all. Let's go through the chat and then we'll see what we got.
Oh, you didn't play that game, Sam, but we played a game of Roll For It with Jack, and none of us stood a chance. He literally won every single game. We could only win when Jack actually went to bed.
Yeah, how do you win a game against Jack? He doesn't play.
Yeah.
Sam,
basically.
do you want a progress report?
What, on what you're up to?
Do you want a progress report on the box set?
Go on then.
Every single model is currently built.
Sweet.
Woo!
Good stuff.
Oh,
So you just need to...
we're motoring through.
You're doing a good job. Is Mike sitting in silence building then?
Mike is, yeah, Mike's not said a word.
Sorry.
Just
let's concentrate.
He's just adding to the myth that we're keeping down in the cellar, isn't he? Mike, come out the cellar.
What have we got here then? Vengeful Jan, sorry I'm late. Has anybody let WGO all about all the books being leaked? We know the books are being leaked, and we've got all the information, but we're not going to go through it all, I don't think, unless there's a huge demand for rules, because we can get all of the rules. We've got all of the rules. It's just more of a fact of we don't want to spoil it if people don't want to see it. So the only stuff we're going through is what the community is releasing on a daily basis. Mike, Phil, and Jack are all very patiently and efficiently building the Dark Imperium set as we speak. That's why there's no chat, no video, because they're all busy doing that. And we're going to go through all the rules and read all of the war scrolls or the data sheets ASAP, basically. What else do we have?
Oracle of Gods just put, how many Sams does it take to get a victory?
Far too many.
How have you got a reputation that you don't get loads of victories? I think you've won most of your games, haven't you, Sam?
I lost one against Ping, and that's because you told me to lose.
Spoiler alert.
Don't know which one though, do you?
How many games, how many battle reports are there of you against Pink?
Your dissent, I've done 2. Your dissent has been noted, Sam. Does that mean he cannot use resilience to stop his last wound being lost? That's true. That's a good point.
That's interesting.
I'd
Well,
still,
presumably
when
once
you take
he's
the wound, you roll for it. I'd say you still get it.
Do you think, surely when you lose your last wound, you're dead anyway?
You do, but it's almost like a last chance save. So technically you lose the wound, but...
It says any time the model takes a wound. So yes, even your last wound is still taking a wound.
I understand the other side of it though, because technically you're dead. When you get 0, you're dead. So you can understand why that would be the case.
Right, Sam, I'm going to leave you in Mike's capable hands. I'm on a priming mission.
Okay,
I shall be back shortly.
no problem. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hello. Tag in, Mike. Somebody else put no, he would lose his last wound, mortal or otherwise, but then would roll for resilience 5 or 6. Don't take a wound. There you go. So I don't know. I can see both sides of it. If he loses
Presumably
them.
there'll be like an FAQ or something.
Yeah. I agree, Sam. This is Karanis. I think the versatility and damage output of the Plague Marines are a lot higher than the Bolter Marines, and that's because we're going to get different units hopefully down the line, which are going to do more than a plasma unit and a bolter unit, a bolt rifle unit. There's going to be hopefully more than just that. Have GVGO got the box set? Yes, we do. Yes, Rachel?
I did see on Facebook, so when we posted that demo game that we'd played at Warhammer Fest, I did see some people saying that actually from their experience and from other people playing these demo games, that the Death Guard did seem to be beating the Space Marines. Primaris, so
it was the character more than anything that was doing most of the damage, is what I think most people were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because it may have been that maybe the points weren't quite even, or one had been better thought out. Maybe like one side, like the Death Guard, had sort of worked together a bit better. But yeah, some people were saying that actually Death Guard do seem to be pretty tough.
Definitely. I mean, it's that Lord of Contagion, isn't it? That one thing. It's just an absolute boss.
He was awesome.
What else do we have? 12 Neef, a bit late. No worries, 12 Neef. Thank you for joining us. Jack will have to get the Demon Primarch Mortarion. Yeah, he's already got the normal 30k Primarch. He needs to get the Demon one, and he will do. As soon as it's released, he's going to be getting that. 3 days till we can even hit the order button. Oracle have got onto the Sam bashing. Big McDansker, what about Magnus? Phil bought Magnus, so he's got that.
Oh, it's such a beautiful model.
It is a beautiful model.
Oh my god, you're turning me.
You like models. It's not going to be long before we do your painting series, and you're going to be full on hobbyist at that point, aren't you? You know what? At Warhammer Fest, Rachel built her first model, and it was made out of the bits part where you make a random character, and we went right at the end. There was nothing left. Between 6 of us on the table, Rachel managed to build one model, and it wasn't even a model. It was bits that were just chucked together. She didn't even have a torso. But that was Rachel's.
I love that little model though. He was so cute.
I've got him in here somewhere. I don't know where though, because everything's
I think
a disaster.
he broke in half though, didn't he, when we tried to bring him home? So I think he needs to be glue him.
Bonus of this hobby, we can glue it back together.
He's going to be my first model that I paint.
Yeah,
I love that little guy.
Yeah, okay. Dark Elf Dave, can I just tell you all one rule, please? Drop pods do not have a weapon skill. That's interesting. Is that actually
Sorry, I've just seen SI Minis. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, sorry. But his comment from the video, it seemed like someone had loaded dice. Yeah, it was a pretty unfair game in that regard.
Yeah, we did the demo game with GW, so they were showing us the rules, and Rachel was just like 6s, 5s, 6s, 5s.
I think the bit that got me, so Sam's there like rolling 1s and 2s for like everything, and then he has to do, is it a morale save? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Literally, it's the one time that he rolls a 6. The only time in the whole game.
Yeah. Drop pods do not have a weapon skill. You are absolutely correct. I need to read about them later as well to see what they actually do.
We can't move.
No, that's true. They can't move. They can't. But you know, when they land on something, there might be a rule for when you land.
Scenery once they land, you know.
Surreal says Sam looks bored. This is probably just my normal face, Surreal. I've got a very boring looking neutral face, so I apologise about that, Surreal. Anyone going to Games Expo this weekend? Are we going to have time to go to Games Expo this weekend, Phil?
I think we should try.
We'll try our best. We'll see what we can do.
We talked about, I was chatting to Luke's apps, and we were talking about maybe trying to get together there. So.
What day is that?
It's Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, let's go on to the next topic, I imagine, and then we'll talk about Warhammer Fest, I think. So this is something we saw at Warhammer Fest. Titan Comics. So I never even heard about this before, and I saw it there. They had a little stand set up with loads of comics. Well, I say comics. They've got graphic novels, and they release smaller versions of them, and then there's like a compilation as well, which has got quite a few of them together as a series. So Titan Comics, titan-comics.com is the website, and there's loads. I mean, I had a brief look earlier because I thought it was just GW comics that they did, but it's not. They do Doctor Who, they've got Assassin's Creed, they've got what was the other one they did? I mean, they've got Dawn of War series, they've got a 40k series, a Blood Bowl series. They do everything. What else is there? Assassin's Creed, Torchwood, Dark Souls, that was one. Vikings, the TV series, they've done one based on that. Sherlock, Penny Dreadful. There's just loads.
This looks amazing.
Yeah, they look really, really good. And the artwork, the ones that I was looking through, they had all of the Warhammer 40k ones there. And if you're into graphic novels or comics or anything like that, and you're into Warhammer, it's definitely worth looking into these. Like this one's issue 6. Let's open this up. So it's £2.65 for a print version of it. And you can download the digital version from Comixology. So depending on, you can buy some digital versions through Kindle as well. So you've got Kindle and Comixology. So this one's part 2 of a brand new arc, the Eldar Harlequins attack. But the artwork in it is gorgeous. The storyline is really good from what I've heard. I've not read any, so I can't give you any personal reviews or anything like that. But the artwork from flicking through it looks great. And they're looking at doing multiple storylines following the 40k universe. And on top of that, obviously Blood Bowl and Dawn of War, they're following the Dawn of War game, and they actually do the stories between the missions that you play in that game. So that's really cool. We've got a Rick and Morty comic as well, Rach.
Awesome.
Definitely worth looking into. And I wondered if anybody had seen this before, or whether I'd just been underneath a rock. But let us know if you've ever heard of Titan Comics and knew that they did Games Workshop related content.
And we've got a question. Is the Forever War amongst that list as well, did you see?
The Forever War? What is that?
Yeah.
I can see if I can type in.
Right.
Forever War. Wow, it is. Don't know what it is. Let's have a look.
Oh, that's awesome. I've got all of those books if you fancy a read one day, Sam. Amazing stuff.
You have?
Yeah. Not the graphic novel, the original books.
An epic sci-fi war story spanning space and time. The Forever War explores one soldier's experience caught up in the brutal machinery of war that reaches across the stars. That sounds cool.
It is cool. Right, I'm going to go off and do second round of priming. Okay. And by the way, can I just say these miniatures are just crazy amazing. They're beautiful. Very nice.
The website's
Mike, take over.
Yep. Add filters. I haven't figured out how to use the website in terms of searching just for Games Workshop. If I type in Games Workshop, it doesn't. GA doesn't come up with anything. Warhammer, I don't think came up with anything. Oh, Warhammer does come up with something. How did I miss that? Here we go. Revelations, and Will of Iron was the set I think I saw. That was in a separate book.
Or Love God's just commented saying Philly's just a tease.
Of course he is. What chat have we got? Rachel will paint the Dreadsaurian. No more chat about the Dreadsaurian. Rachel actually saw the model at Warhammer Fest, and
is this a giant dinosaur? Like, what's not to love?
You're upsetting Neil. Phil, you're upsetting Neil. We'll stop talking about the box. Do you know what, Neil? I'm not there either. So we're both in the same boat here. Phil has the face of joy and wonder. At least he did after buying Magnus. Yeah, we got there. Well, let's talk about that, actually. So Warhammer Fest, we were 7th in the queue. And Phil made us get there at 7 o'clock in the morning. Or set off at 7. Were we there at 7 or did we leave?
No, in Phil's defence, we left at 7 for a 10 o'clock show 30 minutes away.
And he gave me stick. You know when we said we were going to salute and I said we needed to leave early and I thought London would take more than 2 hours to get there from where we are. So we left at 4 or 5 in the morning, and he's never shut up about that. He keeps on reminding me. So I'm going to keep reminding him that we travelled from 7 o'clock in the morning.
Do you know what we've learnt from this? I should plan the journeys.
No, we'll be late to every single one and at the back of the queue.
No, okay. So today I went to Alton Towers. For anyone that's not in the UK, Alton Towers is a theme park. And I told Annalise that I'd meet her at 9:15. And I got there at 7 minutes past 9. That to me is like perfect. It's a little bit early, but it's.
Well, you were on time.
Hey.
You were on time. That normally never happens.
Mike, now is not the time to pipe up.
Anyway, the worst part about this.
Yes, Mike, I was on time. The first time in my life I was on time, and Annalise was half an hour late.
I'll have to have words with Annalise then. Anyway, Warhammer Fest. We got there early. We got there really early, and they had really good security. The police did a great job. The security did a great job. We were in and queuing for. It didn't feel that long. Obviously, we were there for a couple of hours, and a bit over a couple of hours. But it was only when it got to about 10 to 10 that me and Rachel realised we didn't need to be in the queue at the front of the queue at all, because the queue was leading into the exhibition hall where the shop was, and we weren't interested in buying anything immediately. Although we should have done, because we could have got more of those T-shirts. They were an absolute bargain. So me and Rachel left the queue. We were like position number 7, number 8. We were next to Moggy as well, chatting to him. We left the queue and went and stood by the gaming room so that we could go and play that before it got busy. So there was no need for us to get there early. And the only reason Phil could justify it was that he was going to get Magnus. And in the queue, he decided he might not get Magnus. So we had like a huge uproar saying, you can't go on about it for like 3 months talking about Magnus. Make us get there really early and then not buy him. So he bought him. But he was happy at the end of that. He was pleased.
He did have the cutest little face ever.
He had the cutest face. He's always got a cute bearded face, hasn't he? What else?
We love you, Phil.
I mean, in terms of Warhammer Fest, Warhammer Fest was good, wasn't it, Phil? It was really good. I loved meeting everybody. That was surprising. I didn't think anybody would even know us or even recognise us. So we were wandering around, and there was like people after people, loads of people just coming over and saying hello. So that was amazing, just to see that people in Warhammer Fest actually watch our channel and watch our content and didn't just hurl abuse and bully at me. you know, I'm used to this bullying now on a daily basis. It's nice that I turned up in real life and people didn't bully me. So that was nice.
Oh, they totally missed an opportunity there.
Massive opportunity. What were you all thinking? What else was there? The Golden Demon. I mean, the one thing I've got to say is it's too busy sometimes to actually get around. I'd love for there to be some sort of system where you can go around and queue to go around the Golden Demon and take pictures and look at stuff, because there's times where we were stood at the cabinet just trying to look, and there'd be people having conversations with each other in front of the cabinet and not actually looking at the models. They're just standing in the way and chatting to each other. So it holds up the entire, the whole room is waiting to get around and look at the models in the cabinet. And it became a talking point rather than moving out of the way and letting other people look. So that was quite frustrating. It would have been nice to see some sort of queue system. I don't really want to say queue because it's nice to just be able to go in, but maybe just move people along if they're stood chatting in front of the cabinet so that other people can see, because there were so many models there and we didn't even get to see them all, which was a shame.
Do you feel better now you put it off your chest
last week?
Go on, Mike, what were you saying?
This is why we were discussing Warhammer Fest last week, that I was saying that's why I almost think it's, if you can get to go over the entire weekend, that will be better for you, because then you get more time to try and see everything.
So you would spend the Saturday doing everything you would normally do on the Sunday, and then on the Sunday you just camp out at the Golden Demon Hall and just wait for a space and just to get to see everything. I like the idea.
I just think with go and see all the seminars and all that sort of thing, and trying to find a moment where things are free to go and where there's a bit more space, I do think going across the entire weekend would be better.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. We're definitely doing both days next week. If it's just me and you, Mike, I don't mind.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. We got on really well then, didn't we, as well? They're like best buddies.
I'm going to sound really lame here, but I totally think a one-way system could have worked in that hall. Organised fun.
That's way.
It was well organised though, wasn't it? There was plenty of space. The exhibition hall was massive. Next year, I would like to actually maybe, because I'll have more armies, I'd like to turn up at some of these tournaments. And I think then doing the 2 days is definitely worth it, because you could spend one of the days doing the chatting, the walking around, all that sort of stuff. And then one of the other days doing the tournament. Oh no, it's tournament for 2 days, isn't it? That's a shame. Okay, just do everything. I think if you're going to enter the tournament, you have to be there for the 2 days anyway, just to see everything. But next year, I think I'd definitely...
I think if we're going for 2 days next year, I'm going to just enter the tournament.
I want to get some trophies. I want to start entering things. What else was there? Chatting to the White Dwarf team was cool. Chatting to all of the artists and authors and designers. I didn't realise that I can't remember her name, but the lady who designs the transfers, all of the Forge World transfers, she also does the dice, the t-shirts, just absolutely loads of graphic design, and I didn't realise it was done by pretty much one person, so that was nice to see, and a big folder full of all of that. Right, what else do we have in this chat then? We've got loads. Thank you for everyone as well. I know I say this every single time, but thanks to everybody who turns up to these chats. It's really nice to be able to just turn on the computer, go on YouTube and engage with everybody every single week. Phil is even looking at maybe doing another day. I don't know whether we can schedule that in yet, but we're looking at doing maybe 3 nights a week. What else do we have then? Totally think that Rachel should go to the LVO and hit the casinos. You might get blacklisted if you keep rolling all those sixes though. Yeah, Rach, you would love to go to Vegas just to go to the casinos anyway, wouldn't you? So
I would love Vegas.
Imagine a weekend away where you're doing that and playing Warhammer.
Why does Warhammer come into it?
No, the LVO. Las Vegas. I think it's Las Vegas Open. It's an event. It's a tournament in Vegas.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know what the LVO was.
So maybe
it was like some kind of gambling thing.
Everybody else, all the rest of the Wargame Online lot, will go and do the Warhammer stuff, and we'll just leave you in the casino to make money.
That could work.
That's fine.
Well, I have only been to a casino once, but when I did, I left with more than what I started with.
That's good. Counting cards is definitely worth it. Surreal, I think they turned monoliths into drop pods with guns. They certainly did, except it's a never-ending drop pod for units just coming out the front of it. What else we got? Dance Macabre. So this is going back to the Titan comics. Got one of the Doctor Who ones signed. Yeah, Axis was that Forever War. I'm really behind on the chat. Let me try and get through this. Akari is thinking about starting doing the Blood Bowl tournament. And he's saying, yes, the tournament is 2 days, so we're going to have to do that. Harry Painter's entering Golden Demon next year. I'm going to enter Golden Demon next year, I think.
Me too.
I think we're all going to enter. I'm going to try and paint up as much as I can.
Yay!
Chat lag is crazy. The chat lag, I don't know if that's because it appears on the streaming program. I can't really get it much faster than that. If you're talking about me going through the chat, that lag is definitely long, because obviously I sit and talk about other stuff, so I apologise, but I am getting through it. Stalker 40k, hey all, first time in chat, loving the shows all. Thank you very much for joining us, Stalker. And Excessive Magnetisation saying yes to more chats. We're not sure whether to maybe, because we're still finding that new viewers are finding us every single week, and some people are finding us through the website. We're noticing more and more accounts on our website. And if you haven't seen it, it's just at the bottom of the screen, wargameonline.com. You make a free account, and we're noticing more accounts being made on there, more premium accounts being made on there. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed to that premium membership this week. There's been quite a chunk of you after Warhammer Fest that have signed up to that, and it's really appreciated. But we're looking at maybe, as well as doing the Wednesday and the Friday shows on YouTube, our live chats, maybe they're doing a Facebook live chat on a Monday, or potentially Twitch, depending on what is going to be better, just so that we can maybe pick up some more viewers, because at the minute we're not seeming to spread as much. There's a lot of people who don't even know about Wargame Online. We've only been going for just over 3 months, so it's difficult to get the channel out there, and we're thinking maybe looking at Twitch and Facebook to do some live shows might end up getting some more viewers. So let us know if you would watch us if you were on Twitch or Facebook, if that's something you would be interested in watching us on. And we're going to go with whatever's the most popular, really. We're still going to do the Wednesday and Friday chats on YouTube because they're the staple and they're mine. But I think the one that you're thinking about is going to be you, isn't it, Phil? It's going to be Phil's musing.
Phil's disappeared again to
Okay.
do some.
It's going to be Phil's musings, where he's basically just getting on with projects and putting up a chat in the background and getting on with stuff. Right, so what have we got? Vegas is odd, but fun but odd. Sean Blake's going to Vegas in July. Surreal, no, Vegas is the epicenter of sin and debauchery. Sean Blake, I find it's more for couples these days, lol. Well, me and Rach, yeah, we can go. I was going to say Rach, me and Mike can go.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool because actually me and Annalise were saying today we're going to go to America and go to like a new theme park every day. So we're going to do that next year. So whilst we're doing that, you and Mike could go to Vegas together.
We'll all go to America. We need to go to America at some point. I need to at some point in my life. Sorry for language, Neil says. What language? What's up, Phil?
Do I get to go?
I said we're all
Of course
going
you
to
do.
America. You're
Okay.
included in all.
I was
Sarah and
outside
Jack.
climbing.
I was talking about your Monday musings, about your show. We're looking at maybe
then-
Twitch or Facebook and getting you doing your show.
Yes, that's true. Twitch or Facebook or YouTube?
Well, I was saying
What should we do?
Twitch or Facebook, just because there's different viewers, aren't there? We've got a lot of viewers on YouTube, but we're looking at maybe getting from people from Twitch, people who use Facebook or Twitch and don't use YouTube, because it broadens the channel. I was saying we've got more accounts that have been made on the website, the free account, and we've had more premium accounts, but which there's still hobbyists, wargamers out there who don't know about Wargamer Online, so it's good to spread it out over the rest of the social media.
Sounds like a plan.
And Harry Painter saying he'll share the website. That's much appreciated, Harry Painter. The website or the channel, whatever people can do to share this around. The one thing we don't do is spam it. We don't spam every single group. We generally put up a post if we think it's going to be useful to somebody on like Warhammer 40k, or we do it on our own community, and even then it's not very often. So we do appreciate it when people share it with their groups, their networks that are wargamers, because it does help us grow. C Mini saying the small Facebook Live pre-bat rep intros are very cool. Yeah, that's the little things. We've done a couple of trailers on Facebook, and the pre-bat rep intros is something we've been asked to do. It's just a matter of setting them up. One thing we've definitely done is the outros, the post games. We've tried to do like an extra 10 to 15 minutes on. We're going to try and do every battle report, but not every single battle report can be done. But we put that up on premium on the website. So pretty much every battle report that goes up, there'll be a premium post game chat, which you can see. So C Mini is also saying there's a lag between from tablet to PC. There was a 10 to 20 second lag. PC is almost instant. Fair enough. We'll look into it. I apologise about any sort of lag. I don't have much control over it.
Might just be a YouTube though.
Could be YouTube. It's always having issues, little issues. One night in Vegas and Sam would look like Phil.
I don't know. Well, I suppose if you got some plastic surgery to fix that face, maybe.
Oh, it's getting to that part of the show. The bullying has started. This is your warning,
Sam,
viewers. What?
Remember those Marines that come kind of free in Games Workshop that you use for like painting lessons and stuff?
Yeah.
We just placed one of the new guys against one of those Marines, and both myself and Mike just cracked out laughing. It's like, he's like almost up to his knees.
It's these
brilliant.
Marines. I've got a video going out tomorrow because Army Painter has got their new wash set, and they've sent it us a couple of months ago. So we've done like painted Space Marines on these old tester models, and they are the most vulgar looking Space Marines ever compared to the new stuff. And you kind of realise why they have to update their molds every now and then.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Excessive magnetization. I've never used Twitch, but I could figure it out, I'm sure, if that's the best way to go. To be honest, we're just going to look at it. We might not even. We might do one every week, one every 2 weeks. on Twitch, one every 2 weeks on Facebook, and then everything else is going to be on YouTube. YouTube's the place where we're mainly on, and obviously our website. Everything that we do to do with Wargamer Online is put on the website, so that's the best place to get all of the streams. Neil Young, what was the best scenery diorama you saw at Warhammer Fest? I love the dwarves.
Caradron Overlord.
Yeah, the dwarf. Is that the one in the clouds, or is that the rock that's jutting out with all of the stuff spinning around it?
For me, it was the rock one. There was a lot of cool little detail on that rock one. The cloud one was impressive, without a doubt. And sorry, Mike's just making more size comparisons. The cloud one was impressive. It was really, really good. But I have to say the rock one, because whoever had done that had done loads of cool little conversions, like a little floating air bike carrying a bunch of bombs on little tiny trailers that were all floating behind it as well, like an ammo train. It was just amazing. There's so much cool little detail in that.
It was
That
really
was really
detailed.
cool.
So for me, that's all the show.
I think my favourite diorama was the Warhammer scene. You know, the siege where they had a Gorkanaut. Oh, it wasn't a Gorkanaut, it was a fantasy version of one. And it was like a battering ram. I don't even know what it was. There was just huge castle walls and almost like Hobbit-style buildings coming off the side of it. It'd been really nicely converted with huge armies fighting each other. It was orcs versus something. I don't know which army it was, but we definitely took pictures of that and it looked incredible.
Yeah, that was great actually, and that wooden sort of Gorkanaut siege engine was just fantastic, wasn't it? It was really cute.
It was really good. Another thing that was really interesting, Jake from the Dark Age of Sigmar, he kind of, we didn't know he was there, and we'd seen one of these models in the Golden Demon Cabinet, and I took 3 or 4 photos of it thinking it was amazing. And we were stood in the final hall where they were announcing the Golden Demon stuff, and this Jake basically came up and was like, hey, we've got this, how you doing? Just wanted to introduce himself, because we've not met face to face. Even though he lives in the same town, we only realised recently that he's so local to us. So we were just chatting to him, and it was his model that was in the cabinet, and it's this giant converted, almost like a knight. It looked like it had been made out of a Forge World knight, and it had War Chanter, the back spikes that come down the back of the Age of Sigmar War Chanter, and they were the blades coming off of his knuckles, and he'd done a really cool skull on the top of it as well. It was an incredible conversion, and the Dark Age of Sigmar page on Facebook, if anybody's on that, you know what sort of painting and conversion styles are on there already, and Jake's just fantastic at that, so it was really cool to see that as well. And I think we're going to get him to do some showcases for the website as well, actually, for the channel at least. We're going to get some of his models and put them on the spinny video thing and get those done soon, because they're really cool. Surreal saying charter a private jet, it isn't that expensive. Someone Blake saying who doesn't use YouTube. There are people out there who don't use YouTube.
Presumably, though, if they don't use YouTube, they possibly also don't use things like Twitch or
True. We'll just have to see. Else Nation, we always mention you guys on Chilling Wargamers, but we'll see if we can pimp you guys out a bit more as long as Phil never shaves off the beard. Fair enough. Cheers, Else Nation. And then he's rounded that up with the bullying of Home Improvement Kid, because he says I look like the kid from Home Improvement. I haven't got the mullet, unfortunately. And yeah. Surreal. WJ only like 2,000 for the aircraft. Split 10 ways is $200.
Oh, we're on about getting a private jet.
Private jet to Vegas.
I've totally just hijacked that chat.
Nice, Rachel. Nice, Rachel. We were looking at flights to Salt Lake, was it, Phil? And they were like £700 each.
He's spraying again. He's gone to spray again.
Oh my God, he's just never there, is he? Anyway, there were £700 each to go to Salt Lake. Easily the Flesh Eater Court versus Carcharodons, yeah. It's where I got a nice selfie with Phil. We put up a Warhammer Fest video. It's about 30 odd minutes long, and that was just making I think the photos are on for 5 seconds. We took a bunch of photos, so it's quite a long one. If you've got 30 minutes to waste, just stick it on and you can see some pictures of viewers from the channel and all the stuff we took. What was the best?
It was really nice how many people came up to us and said hi and things and took photos.
Yeah, it was really cool. Probably my
nice
favourite part.
Everyone.
What was the best looking Primaris chapter, says Frank Storm? Don't know. Don't know. They're all nice. This is the problem for me. There's too many. There was a really nicely painted Crimson Fist painted by one of the Heavy Metal team, and that was an incredible paint job. But the Space Wolves looked incredible. The Blood Angels look incredible. Dark Angels, I think they're all my favourites. But anything painted, any Primaris, whichever colour scheme you go for, they look awesome. But I did say to Mike I would never do Blood Angels, and after seeing the Blood Angel Primaris, I was thinking about maybe doing Blood Angels as well.
Well, there was that, and you were looking at the transfers as well, which made you think you might do it.
The transfers, yeah. So when we saw the folder full of the new Blood Angels transfers, they were awesome. There's just so many cool things. And Imperial Fist.
Is it the Red Scorpions? Is it Red Scorpions?
Yeah, Red Scorpions as well.
That was the other one.
But now I've found a chapter which might suit me the most. They're called the Angels of Redemption, I think. Correct me if I get it wrong, but they're a Dark Angels successor chapter, and their colour scheme is black, red, and white. So that matches the Wargamer Online colours anyway. Their icon is a hooded angel head with wings coming out the side of it. So that looks pretty cool. And they're really stubborn in terms of their trait, their personality. And Rachel and anybody really would know that matches me perfectly. So I'm very tempted to lean towards that. I'm just going to paint black, and I don't know if I can paint another army in black. And Frank's thinking Space Wolves. Don't like the Red Scorpion chapter icon. Reminds me of a red lobster. I think that is what it reminded me of, actually. Dark Elf Dave, Rach, it made me want to go next time. The whole video of those pics. Yeah. The video is really cool. I'm just chucking them all up. And we've still got the video for Chilcon to put up as well, which I'm trying. As soon as we've finished this, I have got one more review video to edit, and that's on some Vallejo stuff. It's only a first look review. I've got an interview about the Circle of Blood to finish up and put up. I've got the Chilcon event overview, and that's going to go up. And then we've got the unboxing of Dark, whatever it's called. What's it called? What's the new 8th edition called? Dark Imperium. I've got the unboxing of that to edit and put up as well. So we've got 5 videos for me to do tonight, and then more after that. Harry Painter can't wait to meet up and give Sam a bear hug. No problem. That's better than a kick in the
I can
teeth.
just imagine him like running out of nowhere.
I get ambushed by the Hairy Painter. You should organise a WGO get-together at Warhammer Fest next year. Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll have a year.
Kind of cool.
We've been going for 3 and a bit months, and it was already nice to see people coming up to us at this Warhammer Fest. So, next year, there's a whole year. We'll get as many people there as possible. We can try and get in the queue at the same time, and we can just chat, so we're not all just having to listen to me. And Spuds joined us as well. Did you see Baz unboxing video from GW? We did, and that's why we thought we better do ours before the internet is swarming with them. I'm a 20 stone ex-soldier / rugby player, lol. That's fine. That's fine. Right, awesome. So, James, but Dark Angels are a Chaos chapter. Maybe the Fallen or the Loyalists. That's what I said, and that's why I said I was going to do Fallen, because I wanted to do the Fallen. But then everyone was saying, Chaos. If WGO was doing Warhammer Fest next year, it could enter several tournaments and even Golden Demon. Yeah. A WGO raid on Warhammer World at some point. If there's enough people who want to go to events as a group, as a Wargamer Online group, then we are more than happy to do that sort of thing. And we can organise things like that on the website.
I might actually be tempted to enter that gaming tournament at Warhammer Fest next year, to be fair. If we are going for 2 days anyway.
Sounds like we are now.
Well, I am. Mike is. It's whether you guys want to join us.
Okay. We'll just have to see if Sarah can look after the dog for 2 days.
She wouldn't mind. The dog more or less looks after herself. She
digs the garden up there, doesn't she? She's a pain. Right, okay, so we've been going for an hour and a half almost. With a steady group of you, loyal Wargamers. Thank you ever so much for joining us. There wasn't loads for us to get through tonight, actually. I probably missed some stuff, but you know what? We've had a good time. It's been a good chat. We've talked about comics. We've talked about Necrons. We know Necrons are awesome now. We've gone through some of your questions. What's up, Phil?
Can I just apologise to Jack because he requested to join the community quite a while ago by the looks of it, but I missed it, so I've only just approved him. So I'm assuming he's listening in. Maybe he is. Jack, you're now into the community.
So I stopped accepting for a second.
One of us.
You're one of us. As long as the games are quicker than Rachel versus Phil. Yes, you've got to get your game speed up, Rachel and Phil.
Oh yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, sorry I kept you busy, Rachel.
So thank you to everyone as well who's joined the chat.
Oh, my fault, Phil.
I'm going to say thank you. Rage, do you want to end the show?
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Go on, Rach, you can do the whole end. Go for it. So say you got the Facebook, get people on the Facebook, tell them that that's available. We've had about another 7 or 8 people join during the show, so go for it.
I'm gonna do this. Right, ready guys, brace yourselves. Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in to Wargamer Online. So we have a Facebook page called Wargamer Online Space Community. You should all totally join it because it's awesome and we're all like super nice. And we've got a YouTube channel which you're all into because you're all listening now. And we've also got... I shouldn't be allowed to do this.
Keep going. This is much better than Sam.
We've also got a website, and that's www.wargameronline.com. And you should all become premium members because premium members are like super cool, and it's only $2.99 a month. And thanks everyone for joining us. You're all awesome. We love you all. Bye, guys.
The viewers are just dropping.
Oh, I forgot to say thanks to everyone that's here. Sorry, thanks to Mike and Jack and Phil and Sam.
Well done, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
Well done.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Online out.
We'll see you on Friday. I'm sorry, everyone. Goodbye.